Good morning. Thanks, Mike, for joining me. Can you introduce yourself and share your title and years of service with us this morning?
Absolutely. Good morning. My name is Mike Engel. I'm the Corporate Vice President of Hospitality for Mille Lacs Corporate Ventures. Mille Lacs Corporate Ventures is the business arm of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe, and we own and operate multiple businesses. But the two big ones out there are Grand Casino Hinckley and Grand Casino Mille Lacs. I've been with the company for 23 years. I started in February 2000 as we opened up the Wynn's Steakhouse at Grand Casino Hinckley. I was the executive chef in that role. And since then, I've held various roles within the organization. I've held director roles. I've held vice president of operations roles at at Grand Casino Mille Lacs. I've been the casino general manager for Grand Casino Mille Lacs and Grand Casino Hinckley. I've held a corporate role as vice president of food and beverage. All those evolved into the role that I'm playing today.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. For you, if you would to pick something, what's your favorite meal to prepare for yourself and a meal that you like to prepare for your family?
They probably go side by side. I love protein, love working with protein. I'm a scallop lover. My wife's a scallop lover, so we do lots of seafood and scallops. There's nothing better than a perfectly seared scallop. My appetite has evolved over the years. I used to be able to sit down and have a 20-ounce steak and be hungry for more. Today, I'm more focused on that perfect bite or two bites. So that's kind of where we're at today. From a cooking for guests, you know what? It's all about what the guest wants. It's understanding what makes them happy, understanding what they know and what they don't know. And I think the great part about being a chef is the opportunity to give a guest an experience that they're comfortable with, but take them and push them out of that comfort zone with something new and unique. I'll apply that back to when I started with Grand Casino. When I opened the Wynn's Steakhouse, we opened this up in Hinckley, Minnesota, and we had field greens on our menu, and I had a peppercorn demi as a sauce for a steak. And I'd walk the dining room every night and talk to our guests and ask them how their meal was and what they liked and what they didn't like. And I think back to some of the comments I got initially. People would ask me, why are you serving me things that I can get out of my grass, the weeds out of my grass for my salad? And why are you serving me this fancy brown sauce? And I just simplified what those were. I talked about what the flavors they should get out of those spaces, and something as fancy as peppercorn demi-glace is basically a brown gravy, and broke that down and made it more comfortable for them. And now the ribeye with the peppercorn demi is our number one seller at the steakhouse, even today, 23 years later.
Wow, I love that story. And for you, is there any mentor that was in your life that really helped and guided you along the way to get you where you are today?
So it's kind of funny, from a corporate standpoint, we talk about Mount Rushmores of influence. And on my Mount Rushmore of influence, people that have influenced me, first is my mom. My mom was a dietitian in a hospital in the cities. She worked in food for all her life. She surrounded herself with food, and she surrounded our family with food. She was a great cook, but she hated to cook. We ate out. We saw lots of different experiences. She taught me a lot about food, but she also taught me a lot about being a leader. I try to emulate her in everything I do, so I'd put her as my number one. I think back to one of my culinary mentors. He was a chef that worked with Wolfgang Puck out in California, Tim Scott. He was challenged as a person, but he grew as a person within his job, and he showed me how you don't have to be perfect. I think his culinary chops can't be questioned, and I learned a ton from that, but I also learned a ton from his personal journey, so that helped me as a person. I think to a leader, I worked with a leader named John Lovelace, who was a award-winning leader, kind of redefined the food experience in retail shopping. So he was with Dayton Hudson as it grew to be a food mecca, and he just continued to push the needle, and he inspired me to do the same thing. And then more recently, I think to a past leader that I worked with here named Tom Hertzfeld, who really continued to challenged me to expand the way I was thinking and to learn things and to go out of my comfort zone, to be comfortable with uncomfortable, to expect the best and know that there will be failure, to get up and keep going.
I love that. Perfect. And then for you, is there advice that you can provide to our students and applicants who are thinking about a culinary career here with Grand Casino?
So A culinary career is a challenge, and I appreciate the fact that we have people that are interested in this space. Working in restaurants is not easy. It's hard work, but there's very few places that you can work and see the outcome of your work immediately. We have the opportunity to make somebody's day, make somebody's year, every day, every night. That's the best part of our job. If somebody's looking to come into the industry, the first thing I say is, you know what, go work in a dish pit for a couple weeks. Make sure this is truly what you want. Watch what's happening. And then if you really want to do that, want to be part of this after that, put your head down and do the work. Listen to the people around you. There's going to be great advice, there's going to be poor advice. You have to work through that filter and figure out what's right for you. I'd also challenge you to understand that you're going to fail. You're going to have challenges. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. But once you master a skill, there's nothing like it. And then the last thing, once you master that skill, share that knowledge. Don't keep it to yourself.
I love that advice. Thank you, Mike, for talking with me today. Again, to thank everybody just to come and join our Grand Casino team. So thank you very much today, and we'll talk with you again soon. Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you.